The 5 habits that I'm about to break down in this video will grow your audience and sharpen your content without having to drain your time. By the way, this video is sponsored by Tide, more on them later. All right, the first habit that I want you to get in the swing of doing every single week is to do an audit of your content, but specifically looking for your drop-off points. Let me break it down for you. What I want you to do is to open up your social media channel of your choice. Maybe it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever floats your boat. If you're on multiple channels and you want to do this for multiple channels, then that's completely up to you. Just keep in mind that you are obviously giving yourself a lot more work, but it's going to be your own personal choice. Now that you're on your social channel of your choice, I want you to head to your analytics. So maybe you're going to go to TikTok Studio, YouTube Studio, or go into your professional dashboard on Instagram. Now that you've got your analytics open, I want you to look for some very specific metrics. This habit is all about finding where people may have dropped off of your content. Getting in the habit of analyzing and finding these drop-off points on a weekly basis will naturally allow you to improve your content over time, because you'll always be aware of when your audience might lose interest, and you'll carry those learnings through when you are creating future content. So how do you figure out where people are dropping off? Well, if you upload video content, whether long form or short form videos, what you're looking for is your retention graphs. Your retention graphs, which are available across most social media sites, will tell you which points of your videos people found the most engaging, but also at which point did people tend to pack up their stuff and leave. And by that, I mean stop watching. Let me show you some examples across the 3 platforms that I've mentioned so far. So if we start with YouTube, this is a video that I uploaded recently. It's got some good watch hours, but the average view duration is a little bit less than usual. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see this lovely graph here, which is the key moments for audience retention. What this is basically showing me is how long people watched for and what made people drop off. So I can see here that people started to lose a lot of interest in what I was saying towards the end, which does tend to happen, but also it's showing me these tiny little peaks where people were actually rewatching or navigating to throughout the video. So what I would do is spend some time clicking on these different points, figuring out what I was doing or saying during these times, and then carrying those learnings through to the next video that I record. Now, unfortunately, not every social media site is going to give you that level of insight and data. For example, if we look at an Instagram reel, this is one that I posted recently that's performing really well. Though it does give you better analytics than it used to, it doesn't necessarily give you a retention graph. What it does show you though is at which point of your video did people like your reel. This could be a really useful data point when it comes to figuring out your drop off as well. So I can navigate through this and clearly see that at the very start of the reel, the very end, people tended to like it, which kind of makes sense. But there were also some peaks throughout the video where people tended to hit the like button. So what I would do is spend some time looking at these peaks, writing down what I did during that time, and again, carrying those learnings through to my next video. You can also see a similar graph when you go into your TikTok analytics as well. So if you head to engagement and scroll down, it's going to show you at what point people are liking your videos. So you could do the same thing, check out when there's little peaks, make some notes as to what you was doing during those peaks, and then use that as learnings for your future content. This whole process might sound complicated, but honestly, it will take you less than 5 minutes, and it will allow you to get a deeper understanding of what people are engaging with and what people are enjoying when it comes to your content. If this sounds a bit overwhelming, the best way to start implementing this habit is to focus on one social media platform at a time and one tip at a time. So follow the steps that I just broke down, write down one key thing that you're noticing that you're doing during times where people are most engaged, and that is the only thing that you should focus on implementing in your next video. Habit number 2 is an easy one, and it's a nice one, and it's about voice noting people in your community. Yes, I specifically said voice noting, just hear me out. There is the ability for you to voice note your community across most platforms now. On YouTube, if you didn't know, you can actually respond to a comment with a voice reply. I'm going to link to a video up here where I break down the latest features on YouTube and also how you can use them to grow. But that is one of my favorite ones that I mentioned because voice notes just hit different. Have you ever received a voice note from someone you follow online? It's like the most amazing feeling. It just feels way more personal. It feels way deeper. And from a creator's perspective, so from our perspective, it's amazing for allowing us to bond with our audience and strengthen that community feel. So the specific habit is for you to spend 5 to 10 minutes every single week voice noting people in your community. I'd much rather you set yourself a time limit rather than a target of the amount of people that you're going to voice note, because for some people, it might take you a little bit longer to send over the voice note. And what I don't want to happen is that you end up spending like hours every week just like voice noting people. I feel like we all spend too much time sending voice notes on WhatsApp already. We don't need to add anything more to it. Do you know what I mean? So here are a few tips and tricks for you to do this that might help you. If you're stuck as to who you should be voice noting, why not go into your recent follower list if you're on TikTok or Instagram and find a list of people who have followed you most recently and send them a voice note via DMs. Just send them a DM with a voice note which says, hey, I noticed you followed my channel. I hope you enjoy my content. Thanks so much for following. And just leave it at that. You don't need to ask anything of anyone because usually that can actually annoy people because people don't always want to have to respond. You just want to send something that leaves someone feeling seen, appreciated, heard, and feels a bit personal. Alternatively, as I mentioned, if you're on YouTube, then you could just find the most recent comments on your videos and respond to them with a voice note. Or if you are flooded with DMs because you're super popular, then it's just about going through your DMs, picking a few and responding to their messages with a voice note. It takes seconds, but it leaves such a great impression and your audience will truly remember it. That's the kind of thing that someone would bring to the office the next day and be like, oh my God, so-and-so sent me a voice note last night. Do you know what I mean? Like it does wonders for your connection. All right, I'm gonna give you a bonus habit that I want you to do every single week as a content creator. And this bonus habit is to keep on top of your money. Now, I know that this tip isn't growth related, but it is essential when it comes to your ability to stay in the game and thrive as a creator. What I basically want you to do is do a quick financial weekly check-in. You might be thinking, but Jade, I don't earn a lot from my content yet. It doesn't matter. The sooner you get in the habit of doing this, the better off you'll be when you start to really cash in. There's a few things that I like to do every single Friday as part of my financial check-in. I send invoices to brands or clients. It helps me having one set day to do this every single week because I know that nothing will be missed. I chase unpaid invoices as well. And I track my income and expenses, which actually is like my favorite thing to do. I don't know if anyone else finds that really therapeutic, but I really enjoy knowing exactly where my money is going and also what's coming in. I'm saying that like it's some unique fun quirk that I have, and I'm pretty sure everyone probably does that. You might be wondering how I actually do all this. I actually have one of my business bank accounts with Tide, which makes this whole process super easy for me. For example, when it comes to invoicing, I can send custom invoices directly from the app, and I can add automatic reminders so that I don't have to follow up manually, which saves me a lot of time. Also, and this is a big thing that I've been using recently, and it has made getting paid so much easier and so much quicker. You can actually add payment links to your invoices, which allows the people I work with to pay me just by using one direct link, which usually means that they pay me a lot quicker. As a business owner, as a freelance consultant, this has made my life a lot easier. It allows me to send clients a quick payment link as soon as they book a session with me, so I don't have to chase them and there's no awkward back and forth. Now, when it comes to accounting, the dreaded world of accounting, it doesn't actually have to be as complicated or as scary as it sounds, especially when you have a business account with Tide. All of my transactions are automatically categorized, and Tide even gives me an estimated tax bill, so I'm never caught out when it comes to tax season. Also, if you have a team, you can give them their own Tide cards with their own spending limits. All they have to do is upload their receipts inside the app, which saves you so much time. So if you're just getting started, here is a quick tip. Use code JADE50 when you're signing up to Tide, and you'll get £50 cash back on the first £100 you spend with your new Tide cards. Head to the link in my description box, T's and C's apply. All right, so this next habit that I'm gonna be asking you to do, you're probably not gonna like, but I have faith you're gonna do it anyway. I would like you on a weekly basis to recreate a top performing post with a twist. Now you might be thinking, Jade, that's too much of an ask for it to be a quick habit, but trust me, it isn't, because we're recreating something that you've already produced. So this can actually be done in a few minutes, especially when we're talking about short form video content. So what I want you to do is to go through your social media channel, find a short form video that you posted within the last 30 days that has performed well. I now want you to recreate it. And I don't mean copy it. I just mean you recreate it with a twist. Let me give you some examples. Maybe you want to refilm the video, but you do it with a different hook. Maybe you want to refilm the video with the same hook, but a different delivery. And by that, I mean, whatever it is you're doing in the video, so whatever value you're delivering, whether you're entertaining someone, maybe you're inspiring someone, maybe you're educating someone, I want you to deliver that value in a different way. So maybe you say something different, maybe you do something different. It's the same value that you're delivering, it's the same topic, you're just doing it in a different way. So for me, it could literally be as simple as me having the same hook, but me rewording the actual bulk of the video. Another way that you can repurpose is to take the same concept, but do it in a different format. So because we're looking at short form videos, maybe you take a video that you uploaded and you repurpose it into a carousel. Super easy, super simple. You've already done all of the work in the video. You're just going to reformat it and share it as a carousel. Alternatively, you might want to take this video that's performed well and create a new one about the same topic, but this time you update it with new graphics or visuals. So the whole video is actually pretty much the same, just the way that you've edited it is slightly different. The reason why I want you to get in the habit of doing this is because it helps you double down on what's working, and usually it results in a very quick and easy win. It also helps you save time on like thinking of new ideas from scratch, because we all know how difficult that can be. All right, this next habit is another one that you're not going to like, but as with the last habit, I still have faith that you're going to do it anyway. This habit is to film or draft or post something that you're not ready to share yet. Now, for a lot of you, you won't even need to film something new in order to do this habit, because you'll have this beautifully full drafts folder of content that you have simply never posted. This is something that almost all of us have. In fact, I'm going to put a reel on the screen that I had in my drafts for ages as a really great example of this. That was in my draft for ages. I wasn't sure if I wanted to post it because it was a trend. I don't usually do trends. And I was like, I'm not that wild about that video. And it ended up getting 20 to 30,000 views and over 1,200 likes, which is great. That's great numbers for my channel, right? And if I had left that in my drafts, that never would have been shared. Wild. I want you once a week to go to your draft folder and post something. And if you don't have anything in your draft folder, and unfortunately the request might take a little bit more time, what I then want you to do is to film something that you've been thinking about filming, or create something that you've been thinking about creating and post it. We all have that one thing in the back of our head, that trend that we want to try, but we're too nervous to try, right? An opinion that you have that you want to share, but you're just a bit nervous about sharing it. That's the kind of stuff that I want you to get in the habit of posting once a week. It's going to get you so far. Even if that content doesn't perform super well, what you're doing is you're training yourself to get comfortable feeling uncomfortable. And out of every single thing that you can train yourself to do as a creator, that is going to help you the most. It's a very uncomfortable career that we are choosing. You need to get used to feeling uncomfortable. Last but absolutely not least, this final habit that I want you to do every single week is to learn from outside of your niche. I'm ending on a nice one because some of these habits were pretty challenging. This one just involves you spending 30 minutes per week consuming content outside of your niche, or consuming content outside of what you normally consume. So this is an active thing that you need to do. You need to go on your chosen social media channel and you need to type in a niche or a subject that's super different from you, super different from what you normally consume, and just sit and watch some content. The reason why I want you to do this is because we subconsciously emulate the content that we consume. This doesn't mean that we're copying people, hopefully. It just means that sometimes the cadence, the style in which that we show up online is often a reflection of the content that we consume the most, which is why it's important for us to venture outside of our usual content, because it allows us to see how others are showing up online. It allows us to get inspiration and creativity from spaces that we don't usually pull those things from. When you're looking through this content, I want you to ask yourself, how are these creators grabbing my attention? How are they then retaining my attention throughout the video? What's their editing style like? Are they doing anything new or cool or different that I haven't seen elsewhere? Again, I know I always say this in my videos, this isn't about imitating those things. It's just about absorbing something that's different from what you normally absorb, so that you can start to challenge yourself to maybe approach your content ever so slightly differently as a way of keeping it new and fresh. Okay, I hope you found that useful. Don't forget to use code JADE50 and the link in my description box when you are signing up to Tide. You will get £50 cash back on the first £100 that you spend with your new Tide card. Link in my description. If you feel like hanging around, I recommend watching this video. It's about the ultimate storytelling hacks that will help keep people hooked throughout your content. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I can't wait to see you in my next video.